Alright, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Wild Sparrow and this is Slammed. Now, when we left off we were having our match with, no, it was before our match with Sagramore. We are meeting our childhood friend Gris, who is a big Samoan fella backstage. So we exchange a proper hug with a side order of backslapping for good measure. Are you surprised? Hello, Steam. You are, aren't you? That's an understatement. Chris hadn't been the same after the car accident. Even if he'd been the one behind the wheel, Chris had been overwhelmed with guilt. He'd given up amateur wrestling, as well as his dream of becoming a professional wrestler, much to the disappointment of his family. He'd kept in touch, but Chris refused to talk about wrestling at all, which made for a rather limited conversation given your career and interests. In spite of your friendship, he was probably the last person you expected to see at a wrestling show. What are you doing here? I was on business, and I heard you were wrestling Sagramore. Sagramore, how could I miss it? Easily, given his disavowal of all things wrestling for the past few years. You wonder if you should bring that up, or just take it as a good sign. I should accept it because it's cool that he's back in this world, but I'm worried, man. Listen, Gris, don't think I'm not touched that you're here, but you've sworn off any interest in wrestling for years. What's changed? What are you saying? I can't decide to come and see a friend? I'm not saying that. I'm just surprised that's all, and well, surprising you was a point. I assumed it'd be a good surprise, but apparently I was wrong. Oh god, now he's pouting. You can tell your old friend's being evasive, but if Chris is this offensive about something, it's usually not worth the effort to draw him out. I don't like it when people are defensive. Okay, let's just start over. Not literally, you moron. So, wrestling Sagramore, awesome or super awesome? You tell Gris about the past few months and he responds with his trademark disproportionate excitement, and soon it's like old times again, except there were 3 of you during those good old days. Neither of you mentioned JJ. And even as you're enjoying the conversation, the specter of your former friend's absence weighs on you. If Chris heard of your match, then he's heard of JJ quickly becoming one of GWA's fastest rising stars. Heck, you tried to avoid tracking JJ's career, but it just proved impossible not to hear about him. You always make sure to single out. You've even seen people wearing his official shirt during your shows. You always make sure to single out those fans when you're taunting the crowd. You can't help but wonder if Chris has been in touch with JJ. You can't surpass your curiosity any longer and decide to approach the topic from an angle. If you had a chance to watch Wednesday Night Wrestling recently, get your match all worked out for later? Well, the basics, sure, a lot will depend on the weapons the fans bring, and Sagramore tends to call out on the fly. Oh man, I'd be so nervous winging it with Forrest Dundee in the audience. But at least Sagramore is one of the... Hey! What'd you say? You missed Sagramore's one? No, the other part. Dundee's here? Now? Yeah, you didn't know? Forrest Dundee has been the chief booker for GWA's flagship show Wednesday Night Wrestling. And before that, Wednesday Warzone for the better part of 2 decades. A well-regarded wrestler in his own right, known as Ichabod, before an untimely leg injury, he is said to have both a brilliant wrestling mind and an ice-cold heart. Everything to him is a matter of quantifiable value: ratings, buy rates, and social media rankings. He will sacrifice anyone's career for the betterment of the GWA as a whole. He's rarely found outside the GWA's corporate headquarters in New York, and he usually leaves recruitment to his team of talent relation executives, but rumor has it that he occasionally ventures out into the world to personally vet particularly promising recruits. One of those chosen ones had been none other than JJ Havoc. After much prodding, Gris accompanies you to the bleachers and points to a real thin man seated ringside. He's wearing dark glasses and a hat, but you can see him fondling the handle of his trademark cane. You feel yourself start to hyperventilate. What are you gonna do, Brock? I'm gonna ask Vinny for advice. Vinny is one of the finest minds in the business. I've got to think about future of the promotion of the... Who's been drawing the crowds for the past 3 years? Who lent you the cash when Jody ran off with all your savings? I want this, and you'll give it to me. And even after you've done that, you'll still be in my debt. Do we understand each other? Vinny raises his arms in disgust and spits on the floor and walks away. He sees you standing there, and pauses for a moment, then shakes his head sadly. I'm sorry, kid. We'll fix this when he's gone, I swear it. Now it's just you and Sagamore in the alcove. The old Brit's breathing heavily, and he appears lost in thought. Then he shakes himself and meets your eyes. Change of plans. I'm going over tonight. I'm retiring as champion. No! No, you're not. I'm gonna win. You wanna squash me? No. Sure you think you can take this, old man, boy, but not without a fight. Not without cost. I may only get one shot in, but trust me when I tell you, I know exactly where to hit you to ensure you'll never wrestle at a high level ever again. So make your choice. Oh, he is not gonna screw me over. That is not gonna happen. What are you going to do? Bailing on the match while tempting is not an option. You owe Vinny that much, and besides, word would get around, and however Sagamore came out of it, you'll be seen in just as a bad light if you leave the show in a lurch. Now, the way you see it, you have 3 choices, maybe 4. You can of course simply lie down and do the job. It's the most professional thing to do and the one that will cause the least problems backstage, but you'll also be waiving your chances of impressing Forrest Dundee goodbye. You can also let yourself be squashed, but show off your athleticism and protest the booking at the same time by overselling or reacting in an absurdly exaggerated manner to all of Sagamore's moves. Thank you, Shawn Michaels. But you'll need to have good timing and technique to pull that off. Alternatively, you can try to somehow force Sagamore to have a good match. However, you'd be gambling that Sagamore would rather let you undermine his plan than simply walk away. And you're not sure how well you know Sagamore anymore. Of course, part of you wishes you could just simply march down to the ring and legitimately attempt to beat the old Brit up, but you're not sure if you have it in you to throw script and kayfabe out the window and turn the match into an actual fight. See, now I don't want to be squashed, so that's ruled out immediately. Now, I could oversell, I could be Shawn Michaels. But overselling is seen as unprofessional, whereas if I have a good match, people will be impressed. And I don't really give a damn if he walks away, because I have no reason to give a damn. I mean, he's trying to squash me. Why should I give a damn? He'll be the one seen as unprofessional, so I'm just gonna force him to have a good match. Sagamore has made one big mistake. He thinks he's negotiating from a position of strength. Sure, that may be true backstage, but once you get to the ring, Sagamore's the one with more to lose from a bad performance. He's the one with a legendary reputation, and tonight is his big final match. You need 2 wrestlers working together to put on a show, even a squash. If the only way he can get you to actually engage him is by having an actual match with you, what other choice will he have? Of course, if you thought the old Brit was being stiff with you before. But you're out of options. You'll give Sagamore the win in the end, but not before he lets you show the GWA brass what you can do. This is your shot, and you're not gonna squander it on the whim of a retiring wrestler, legend or not. You make your way to the curtain as a broken shell fills the arena. You roll your shoulders, bounce on your toes. You're breathing slow and controlled as you wait for your cue. You realize then that while you can feel adrenaline coursing through your veins like blood, an enveloping calm has descended upon you. You've made your choice, and now it's time to see it through. Sagamore's time is over. The crowd lets you have it the moment they catch sight of you. Sneer at the crowd. You curl your upper lip as you look out at the masses like an 80s movie villain. Fuck yeah, the classics always work. You regain your senses just as security is escorting the old lady out of the arena. What old lady? Oh, she threw a vase at me. Okay. You feel a stab of pity until you realize that one of the bouncers holding something else they must have confiscated from her. A lead pipe. Shit, she was gonna kill me. You wipe off the blood as best you can and head to the center of the ring. Sagamore and the referee are waiting. Sagamore offers his hand. As you shake hands, the referee turns to order the bell rung. Sagamore tries to pull away, but you maintain your grasp and pull him closer to you. I don't care if you win, but you're gonna give me a 5-star match, or I'm no selling. You wouldn't dare. No selling means that you won't react to his moves or assist him in any way. You'd ruin your reputation. I'm young. I can rebuild it, but this is your last match. Is that how you'd really like to go out? In response, Sagamore whips you into the ropes. Instead of rebounding, you grab the ropes and lean back against him, watching Sagamore. You slowly walk back towards him, and once again have a stare down in the middle of the ring. Dilbrid is practically apoplectic. You treacherous, blackmailing punk. Edward, I don't know why you changed your mind at the last minute. Your reasons are none of my business, but a squash isn't just bad for me, it's bad for you. It's bad for those here for you. Look at them. You think they paid to see the sort of match GWA gives its new hires? Edward. 5 stars, you say? And he slaps you across the chest. You drop to one knee to settle the blow and to hide your smile. It's on. Yeah! Fuck yeah! Ring general, bitch. The match goes on for 40 grueling minutes. At first you spend so much time in the ring that fans seem to think you've forgotten that it's a home weapons match. Each of you teases being thrown out of the ring several times, driving them into a frenzy of anticipation, and then return to wrestling in the center of the ring, exchanging punch for punch, move for move. When you and Sagamore both tumble over the top rope after Dilbrid hits you with an explosive clothesline, the fans rise to their feet, and I really like for that steam thing to go away, but if it's not gonna go away, then fuck it. Almost as one, as you and Sagamore carry the fight into the stands, you're surrounded by a veritable forest of mundane implements of destruction, from frying pans to cork bars to parts of what probably used to be an exercise bike. You and Sagamore take turns selecting the most interesting items and finding new ways to torture each other. He slams you with an unabridged dictionary. You trip him with a wooden soup ladle. You mime talking on a rotary phone while you strangle him with a cord. He covers you with a plastic garbage can and rings you like a bell. The best part comes when two of you engage in an arms race of sorts, grabbing a succession of increasingly impressive weapons without actually engaging each other. That ends when Sagamore gets his hands on a toilet plunger, which, for reasons best left mysterious, is dripping wet. You run back to the ring in a panic, the audience clearly enjoying themselves, and this is what wrestling's all about. Pure fun. Sure, some basis of realism is necessary, but when it comes right down to it, you're here to put on a larger-than-life spectacle. Once inside the ring again, you and Sagamore drop the levity and put on a wrestling clinic that is, at the same time, a walk down memory lane. You go through a series of near falls with Dilbrid, each a homage to the finishes of his most famous matches. The running power slam he used to win his first European title. 1, 2, Wolf Erickson kicks out. There, the ankle lock that made him submit in his first GWA pay-per-view loss. And Sagamore gets to the ropes. Now the exposed turnbuckle that cost Sagamore so dearly against Matt Stonehenge, the shoulders up. Then the backbreaker that made the Tower of London fall, foot on the rope. By the time Sagamore hits you with his finisher, the shooting star press, backwards somersault from the top rope that he calls the 3-star press. The crowd is on its feet, and so loud that you have to strain to hear the ref count. Not that it matters this time, as this is the pin that decides the match. 1, 2, 3. Over the indistinct roar of approval that falls, one voice makes itself heard. Thank you. Then Sagamore stands up and receives both the title and the adulation from the crowd. You sit up more slowly, feeling the bruises and damage from the evening's battle more acutely now that the adrenaline has begun to ebb. You watch Dilbrid take a lap around the ring, title held high. It really hits you then what you've been a part of tonight, the final goodbye of a wrestler the likes of which will never be seen again. Whatever your feelings about Sagamore, the man, you feel fortunate to have been a part of this. Then you realize that your part isn't over. Sagamore is gesturing for you to join him at the center of the ring. Good match. Now get out of my ring so I can say a proper goodbye. When you go through the curtain, Vinny and a big crowd of wrestlers and staff give you an explosive round of applause. You're quickly mobbed, but then Vinny claps his hand and bellows, Okay, you can get in line with the rest of the yahoos later if you want autographs. For now, me and the kid have business, so why don't y'all go out there and pay tribute to a legend, eh? Kid, I've been in this business for a long time. and I've never seen anyone turn a bad hand into such a smashing full house. I've had a lot of bright stars shoot past me on their way to the greener pastures or galaxies or whatever, but I don't think anyone has had as much potential as you. You took the backroom politics and beat him down using talent and put on a show that left the fans none the wiser. But this isn't the last time you're going to have to try to turn coal into diamonds, and you won't always be as successful. Here's what you need to remember, kid. Even if this business is called professional wrestling, professional behavior isn't the norm. And the higher up the ladder you go, the more you'll run into those who see the business as their fiefdom. Walk with me. Edward's a good guy, but GWA treated him like crap. Word is that old Cameron Dobbs actually liked Sagamore, but Forrest Dundee had it out for him and managed to convince the Dragon Lady that Sagamore was just not a good fit for the GWA. Never mind that his evidence consisted of shows where he'd given Sagamore the worst possible scripts and bookings, but when Edward found out Dundee was in the audience today, the idea of losing yet another match, his last ever, in front of Dundee, was more than the old man could swallow. He clearly is going somewhere with this. I'm not telling you this because I want to justify his actions. Okay, well, maybe in part I am. I've known Edward for a long time and I don't want you thinking too badly of him. But really, this is about you, kid. The lessons you learn when you're at the bottom are what you'll need to keep in mind when you're at the top. I can handle being BWF champion. I was ready when I agreed to the program with Sagamore. I'm not talking about that, kid. I'm talking about what you need to keep your head above the water, to keep your sharks at bay. He's talking about me, Mr. Lesnar. Come in, Wolf Erickson, we have a lot to talk about. And I'm going to leave the episode right here. We're going to leave this meeting for the next episode because I feel like I need to go into the meeting with thought, and after a big old match with Sagamore, I won't be thinking too much about the meeting. So if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. I really appreciate it. It doesn't appreciate it, I do. And it shows your support. If you want to see more of this or any other of my series like Going Under, click that subscribe button down there, yeah. But I slurred all the way through that sentence. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!